Thanks.
All right.
Okay. I think we have to start and all say publicly if we want to be elected or not. So first of all, I'm Corvin, and I'm participating to being elected. Yeah. Someone needs to go on.
Okay. Yeah. My name's Felix Reese, and I intend to run for a representative position. So I guess that's my declaration for going through and declaring.
I'm Chuck. I'm here for the ride. Basically, I'm here to test out the process and see how I can help make it happen. So in that capacity, I'm open to being elected as a representative.
Hi, I'm Miss Pascal. I'm not running. I'm here to test the process and then to see how things goes. I'm fully in EOS, and then I want is to be a successful process.
Okay.
So how many are we in this group? Do you know? Any idea?
4.
4. Okay, good.
4, and we now have 15 minutes.
Okay, good.
To tell each other about the idea and then to find consensus. I think I should start with my idea, and then Felix, then Chuck, and then we can discuss, right?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, so first a few sentences about me. I'm Corvin. I'm here in the EOS space since the very beginning. I was already here when the EOS mainnet was not live. I was one of the core developers at Karma, and from then on stayed in the EOS space, developed on several different projects, advised, etc. I funded my own company. We are top 21 block producer on Wax. Currently, we are working on everything related to blockchain and gaming, but that's not the topic of today. My idea is, let me start with the problem. I think EOS has a trust problem, or in other words, I think blockchains or decentralized ledger technologies, etc., are about trust, and we have all these different smart contracts, and hopefully in the future many more, and they are all more or less used, and we have a specific toolset around, like Ricardian contracts and stuff like that, and no one's using them. And I think, or my belief is that we are not making things really better if we just deploy smart contracts without the intended usage. I mean, there are questions like, is code is law or intent of code is law, and these problems will occur in the future more often. And my idea is to build a block explorer, not just for exploring blockchain data, but with focus on trust. I want to build a block explorer which contains kind of a rating system where people can look up if someone has deployed Ricardian contracts, if they are readable, if they are in different languages, if they did the smart contract audit, if the permissions are set to, for example, the EOS.io block producer permission or whatever. So I would like to build a block producer, a block explorer with focus on trust. And yeah, I think it's possible to kind of force smart contract developers or dev developers, companies behind, to make use of this if we, for example, provide free transactions through this block explorer for users of the rated contracts. So with a specific rating, a specific amount of points, we could allow free transactions for users of these contracts, and we could pay these resource costs by public advertising or something like that. So yeah, that we can create a system where money flows in and goes out, and with really focus on trust. If I win the 2,110 years, I think that's for sure not enough to build the whole thing. It starts with history solutions. Hyperion is not good enough, I think, because there's no matching between table deltas and transaction traces. Diffuse is too hard to host and comes with high maintainability costs. So I would take the 2,110 years and yeah, build a small team with people who like the idea and want to spend time on it, and yeah, kind of put the 2,100 years into a pot, and first would try to come up with a concept, with a detailed concept for the real years in OS election in whenever 1 or 2 months when it happens. Okay, that's it. I hope I haven't consumed more time than I should. That's it.
Cool.
And yeah, Felix, you're next.
All right. So I prepared like a pre video, so I'm gonna share my screen. Hopefully this works. Can you guys see my screen?
Not yet. It's
No,
loading.
There we go.
it's okay.
Is it good now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Hey, my name is Felix Reese. Some of you may know me from my YouTube channel, where I did a recap of our first Eden election trial, or when I traveled from Colorado to Texas only paying with EOS. I'm a petroleum engineer with experience in project management, but I hope to shift my career into filmmaking, as I'm an aspiring content creator that hopes to help spread the word and educate people about the power of blockchain technology. I got into EOS back in 2018, and I've followed Dan Larimer, the brains behind Eden and EOS, ever since. I've even attended several EOS-sponsored events like the EOS Hackathon in San Francisco and the B1 June event in Washington, D.C. In a noisy crypto market, I believe it's important to have strong marketing and education on EOS to help the general public understand the importance of investing in a technology that has strong fundamentals. The bottom line is that if the price goes up, it helps everyone in the community and can help accelerate the growth within the ecosystem. So my pitch is to elect me to manage the funds to distribute it amongst a community that I'm involved in called Creator Now. So what is Creator Now? Creator Now is a community created by Eric, a YouTuber who managed to grow from 0 to 1 million subscribers in just 1 year. There's a ton of talented creators in this community who are hungry for ideas, and with many emulating Eric's style, I believe it would be wise to fund videos with EOS. This will bring and introduce EOS to new content creators and their audiences. So my idea would be to get content creators to come up with challenges of having to pay only in EOS. And doing this will help set up the general public with EOS accounts and getting them exposed to the cryptocurrency. As the crypto market starts to heat back up, I believe this would be a great way to get organic growth, as people will start to see and hear more about EOS, especially through content creation. I recently did a poll within the community to see how many creators would be interested in taking a sponsorship video from EOS, and here were the results. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video that I specifically made for this election, and I'm excited to hear you guys' feedback in the live Zoom call.
Yeah, so I thought I'd try something a little different going around in this election. But yeah, I'd be open to feedback after we hit everybody, or now, depending on what you guys want to do.
I think everyone should talk and present his idea first, and then we can discuss.
Should I go?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You are the last one.
I'm really interested in the potential of Eden. Right now, obviously, especially getting bare minimum involvement in today's election, there are some things that need to happen to get it ironed out, obviously, and the system itself the system of ironing these things out could probably use some funding. I would be in favor of turning all of the EOS. EOS has a lot of resources coming to it. We've got all sorts of stuff happening. Eden is very likely going to be achieving some sort of funding from the network or other sources. Regardless, Eden could use a springboard right now, and I really think that we need help unifying the message. We need help pushing it out to the world. We also need help refining it so that it's accessible to basically the target that Eden is looking for. In my opinion, anyway. Just to backtrack a little bit, I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm involved in my community in many ways, and I don't use Facebook. Okay, and I'm involved in all sorts of community organizations that use Facebook almost exclusively to manage their user base, right? Eden, I mean, everybody here is on the same page. We all understand that there's immense potential here, but getting this potential out into the community is really where Eden can go next, right? Being able to build a system, and I know that's what the guys are, the team behind Eden is building towards, but being able to build tools for community organizations to use, I think will springboard Eden off into so many different directions. For example, there are all sorts of organizations out there, worldwide organizations even, that don't trust their leadership, right? Or political movements, political parties, national political parties. I'm a member of a national political party that doesn't really have any chance of getting anywhere this election coming up in Canada here, right? And if for some reason it could be convinced to even try Eden as a process, it would suddenly become a reality show that the whole country would watch. If every candidate in a political party started using the Eden process and they agreed to it, it would reform that political party. If everybody in a church group, church organization, or a religion started using the Eden process, it would really help to refine the message and help to target achievable goals. So like I said, I'm here for the ride essentially in Eden, but I don't have a particular project that I'm looking for funding for. I really want to direct these prize monies towards refining Eden itself, refining Eden, not on EOS, not focused on EOS, because I think it's going to come, but refining the tools themselves, refining the message to community organizations and to other organizations, and just telling people that if you're part of a group, you can use this tool to basically come to consensus on how your group is going to put itself forward in the world. There we go. Pascal?
All right.
So
Yeah,
I'm not running, but I will maybe just share my...
maybe as you are the only one not running, you should start the discussion with probably with your own ideas and give us a broad direction.
Good. So my idea was very simple. I read Dan books, More Equal Animal, and then the basics of it is powerful as an idea, very powerful. So it was just to say, how can we bring this message out to even non-blockchain users, non-crypto users, so that they get the message. So it was how I can take this book and then make it translated with funding to other languages, including French, Spain, so that people get the message easily. So this is just what I got. So if I just have to ask some question based on the project that just get pitched, I will ask Felix if you mind. Felix, if I got exactly what you want to do, you want to target content creators to create content for EOS, right?
Right. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So those content creators are they EOS users, or they are just outside contents, and then they want to create content for EOS? So are you pitching to them the EOS ecosystem, or are you just pitching to them that they have to create content for EOS? Just to be specific.
Yeah, so they're just like they're just general content creators. So my idea is I'd be approaching this community as a sponsorship. So it'd be like so the community I'm a part of, they make weekly videos, and you know, every week they're looking for an idea. So my whole idea behind it would be, if you want to be sponsored by this video, here's an idea. You have to use this EOS to pay for, you know, a meal or something. And I can, you know, spread this out through the community depending on how much funding I would receive. And yeah, so the whole idea is just bringing on brand new general public people who are outside of cryptocurrency, because I find there's a huge disconnect between, I mean, you have people in the crypto world that some people don't even know what EOS is, and then you have some people that don't even know what cryptocurrencies are. And you know, as cryptocurrencies start to heat up, you have a bunch of noise in the market with all these meme coins like Dogecoin, everyone's pumping coins. And so my idea is if we get just general content creators creating content, showing the use case of how easy it is to actually use EOS. And then you're spreading out EOS to brand new people. So my idea is like, if, let's say I convince somebody, like in my video, for example, when I traveled from Colorado to Texas, I only paid in cryptocurrency for my gas. So I had to convince people to pay for my gas. And in return, I set them up on an EOS account and I sent them EOS. And, you know, it was anywhere from $20 to $50. And if they're not into cryptocurrency, unless they wanted that money right away, they'd have to set up a Coinbase account and send that over just to get their $50, or they're just going to keep it and hold on to it, and they'll be able to view, you know, on the wallet, like how much it's worth. And over time, if, you know, hopefully the price goes up, they start to see that, and they're like, oh, or when people start talking about cryptocurrency, you know, it's a way to organically grow the word of mouth of EOS, because they'll talk to their friends and family of like, yeah, you know, I paid for somebody's lunch and they sent me this cryptocurrency, and it was under, I mean, it was quick and instant. And then if you look at other people who've kind of done this idea with Bitcoin, it's taken 30 minutes to an hour just to send that transaction. And so it's not a good use case of actually having cryptocurrency for mainstream adoption. So it's kind of like my thinking of it. It's like a faucet where just, you know, Bitcoin had this in its early days where people could collect Bitcoin from a website for free. And that was just to expand the network. And I think that's a great way to grow, you know, the EOS ecosystem, is just by just giving it out to people and getting them exposed to it. Because like I said, with the crypto market just being really hot, there's just so much noise. We have to distinguish ourselves. Like, yes, we have great technology, and hopefully over time that will speak for itself. But the sooner we can get more awareness on EOS, like I said, the price helps everybody, especially here in this community where, you know, it's bootstrap people that are just taking our own free time to do this, no funding to support us, because, you know, right now the price is low, and I'm sure, you know, most of us are exposed to EOS in some form. And if it does well and price wise, that allows us to have a little bit more freedom job wise to contribute and focus more towards building out this system.
Thanks.
I'm not sure if I understand how Creator Now works. It's a community of people doing YouTube videos, for example, creating digital content. Sounds like with the focus on marketing, right?
Yeah, so it's just aspiring YouTube creators. So yeah, the idea is just exposing these, I mean, I've been in this group, so I've seen I've seen their videos, and there's a lot of talent of like, they're good at storytelling. They're all trying to aspire to be like Eric, the guy who's behind this creator now, who went from 0 to 1 million subscribers. And you know, if the community hops on board, it might catch his attention a little bit more. I've already kind of sent things towards their way of like trying to let them know what EOS is. Like I said, I think there is a big disconnect of like, cryptocurrencies are confusing to the general public, but the idea is just you're getting people who are potentially, they could end up, I mean, they're inspired to try to be like professional YouTubers. If we catch one of these guys early and they end up being big and they've had exposure to EOS, that helps in the long run, especially if you know, if they end up enjoying EOS or they capture the community. So like when I joined this community, it was like when I first started my YouTube channel, and I captured a lot of support from the EOS and Eden community. And I know personally, like that just makes me feel good, because like it makes me like feel like, okay, I can continue to make content. And so I just feel like right now with EOS, everyone's excited to see like more content coming out, and having that support might help other these content creators maybe even dive deeper into EOS. But ideally it would just be fun little challenges that they do, but I mean, they're showcasing EOS versus another cryptocurrency.
So you would add kind of challenges through this platform, and they could participate, and then someone wins and gets paid in the EOS you won in this election. Is that right?
Yeah. So what I was thinking would be like, I would split up the funds depending on how much I got. If I just got out of this first round, I just had the 10 EOS. I mean, that right now is like $30. So my thinking would be like, okay, I'll tell the community what I ran for them. I got sponsored, and I'm going to give this up to one person who really likes the idea of trying to pay for a meal. If you can pay for a meal and you can capture that in content, and you know, I'll educate them a little bit more on the process of like setting up a wallet, some pitches of like why EOS is a good cryptocurrency, educate them on it, and then they make their video however their style is, of the challenge of trying to convince somebody to pay for their meal or whatever, and then that's captured, and then they can say it was sponsored by EOS on Eden, or Eden on EOS community, and you know, they could talk a little bit to that. But yeah, I would divide the funds up to something where it just be a simple challenge, like, because it's hard. When I went from Colorado to Texas, it took me a lot of people just to convince one person to pay for my gas. So just a meal would be something cheap. We're talking like they don't need more than $10, and then you know, whatever, you know, we're talking like $20 worth of EOS, then $10 is their meal, and then $10 they can keep as a sponsorship for themselves.
What I like on this is more marketing for EOS. Definitely, there's a lack of marketing. That's clear, and someone needs to do something on this. What I don't really like, to be honest, is I think in this space, good creators are people with intrinsic motivation, people with a strong belief in the system, people with somehow an emotional binding to it, people who have this.
Like your videos, like Felix's videos, for example, are good.
Yeah.
Because he has that intrinsic relationship.
Yeah. People with a different view on how the world runs and how they wish the world should run, and and what I, to be honest, don't really like is this, at least in what you told us, the focus on payments and currency. To me personally, maybe you see that differently, but to me personally, this whole space is about trust. It's about trusted systems. It's not just about sending money from A to B and to pay for something. And I don't want, for sure that's part of it, but I don't want EOS to be publicly visualized as currency and as a good for payments. I personally see it as a platform for trust. So yeah, that's my thoughts.
I think one thing that came from the previous election, mock election, was the desire to focus the funds on achievable goals. Not so much open-ended or closed-ended goals as just achievable.
Sure.
And I like what you were saying, Felix, assigning the money to a goal is good, and then dispersing it amongst people who are going to further that goal is good. But I don't know about taking these funds and then dispersing them amongst people who have nothing to do with Eden or EOS. I don't know, without them obviously having some sort of real key professional, some talent that it's lacking in the community. If the community really needed something to happen and it really needed to go outside itself to achieve that goal, then it's something that just has to happen, right? But I think that there are a lot of content creators inside the community who are able to pick up the ball there, without going and just putting up a bounty basically for somebody to make a video about something. When it comes to, for example, if we were going to roll these funds back into improving Eden, again, that's the same story, but we would have to find some way to achieve consensus on what to spend that money on exactly, who could do it, what the, everything to do with coming to a decision on how to spend that money, could be more at a board level kind of thing rather than just giving a very large amount of money to one person to give to another community, basically, right? I mean, I really do like your idea of using the funds to market EOS, but like going outside of the EOS community to another community, I don't know if that would be what people would be looking for in this particular election, right? I don't know if that idea would fly and past this room, for example, right? It would be very difficult to convince people to do that, in my opinion.
Or maybe it can be framed so the target market should be EOS users within our community. So if you can do the same pitch, but target the EOS community or the Eden community in terms of using the funds to get people inside the community to do the work if they want to do the work. If we don't find people in, that way maybe we can look outside. But I understand, Chuck, what you mean by that.
Yeah, so I agree with that. Like, it would ideally, we want the funds to support the community who's most invested into the success of EOS. My idea is depending on like how, let's say if I did make it all the way with this idea, I mean, that is quite a bit of funding, and that would be something that's not going to be distributed immediately out to every single one in this community. That's where more trust would fall on me. And, as far as like me making sure that I'm using those funds wisely and slowly testing, because this would be a test essentially. My whole idea behind doing it this way is I think this is a trend that could catch on. Like I said, I did this, and then like the week after that Eric, the one who has over 1 million subscribers, he teamed up with another YouTuber and they did a challenge where they traveled across Texas, but they only paid in Bitcoin. And I think this follows a trend of just cryptocurrencies just getting more hot. And so like my whole idea is just if we get creators just doing this with EOS, anyone who doesn't really know about cryptocurrency, that's going to be the first cryptocurrency they think of or refer to when they start to jump into it. And yeah, like I said, my thing is it's all dependent on how much funding, like if, let's say if I made it out of this room and going into the next room, if there is a really solid idea, like that's my belief, you know, going in the first election, I was willing to give up my vote as well, for a better idea. But having a small portion just to test this would be a simple experiment. Like my goal going into this is whether you guys push me towards the next one or we push somebody else towards to the second stage of this, I would like to get, you know, just test it. One, if I can, because this helps me approach and kind of pitch the community too, because the community, if you guys saw the poll, there were some people that were maybe yes. I've talked to some people. I mean, there's hesitancy because some people, like I said, don't even know about cryptocurrency. Some people are like hesitant to even mess with cryptocurrencies because they don't even know if it's a legal way to do things. And so there are some really great creators though in this community that they're good at storytelling and not bashing anybody in the EOS community. I love everyone that's making content, but crypto specific, like I don't even consider, like I think there's a lot better people making content right now. They've been doing it for a while as far as like being able to make their story entertaining for people. And
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but does anyone know how much time is left?
Haven't.
I think we had 50 minutes, so it's probably not much left, and we have to find consensus.
We still have like 10 minutes to go.
If we don't find consensus, then no one will make it into the next round. So,
well, let's go for your ideas, COVID. The idea you bring up, I wanted to push a little bit on that one. Why do you think we need a smart contract rating, Block Explorer? Where did you find this?
Trust.
Yeah, it just
the biggest
on EOS, because on other blockchain I can understand. But do we have enough substance to say, okay, we don't have a rating?
No.
Okay.
The problem I'm trying to solve is that smart contract developers are not making use of the tools they should. There are Ricardian contracts. Ricardian contracts are made with the intent that you describe what an action does. And not even EOS Nation, the developers behind EOS X, that was hacked. Not even they are top 21 block producer for 2 years. Not even they have done this Ricardian contract thing. And it's a thing of 15 minutes. It's not much work and it doesn't cost much. And
so the problem is this trust.
After they, you see, I'm getting angry because it's ridiculous that they are not doing it. After they were hacked, there was a discussion if the block producers should stop the account from transferring or not, because of the question if code is law or if intent of code is law. And Ricardian contracts are made for intent of code is law. That's the idea behind you describe the intent in the Ricardian contract. And the same for the audit. They said they have let the contract been audited by a company. They publicly announced it was audited, but there was nothing like a protocol about the audit. So people blindly had to trust these smart contracts of EOS Nation, a block producer, 2 years. Everyone knows them. Not even they are using it, and that I think needs to be solved. And I think the solution for it is to kind of force them, force smart contract developers to do that. And you can do that if you rate them and if you provide something to them for using the tools as they should.
So can I ask?
I mean,
I'm sorry. I don't know how much time it's remaining. I just asked on Telegram.
Probably just a few minutes.
Other rooms have met. 15?
10 to 15. I think when I checked, it looked like we have to be done by.
I think 10 would make sense for us to aim for. See, I don't know. I didn't get your first name. See, is not on your.
Corvin.
Okay.
we all have to put our Telegram or Twitter names in here. That's why I have CMADH. It's my Twitter name.
Okay.
Because then later people can contact you via your Twitter name and, and so on.
Yeah. I was wondering about creating a block explorer. Okay. What kind of work do you see that as requiring?
I think first of all, you always have to do requirement analysis. That's typically done in software development. When working with a customer, you have several talks and then you write down requirements and you convert them into something readable and understandable by the customer. In this case, there is no customer, but it's easy to kind of switch the view into the customer's view, as we are all using the systems we are developing on. The work I see, first of all, is a detailed requirements analysis with pros and cons for different variations, probably. Then the one thing we have to fix is the situation with history solutions. You can see, for example, on Wax, if you use wax.blocks.io, you don't see any table deltas. If you send a transaction, you don't see which rows have changed. On EOS, I think you still see them because it uses Diffuse behind. But there's only one company hosting Diffuse on EOS, which for sure is also not decentralized. So I think we have to fix this history solution situation.
Yeah.
And I would start with working something out with a small team. I think I will find people from the community, which I know for years. I mean, I'm here for a while. I know them all. I would work something out, and yeah, the first solution would be for history solutions, made or modified in a way suitable only for a block explorer of this kind. If you say you only support contracts with at least a rating of 1, if you have a rating up to 5 or so, and there are hundreds of contracts which don't even have a rating of 1, then you can reduce the data stored, for example. But these are things you have to weigh up, right? Yeah. And the second thing is then probably wireframe screens, etc., of a possible visualization of a block explorer, and a scheme to rate contracts. I'm pretty sure once I communicate this to the community and have a small group of interested people, we will find more interesting ideas on how we can rate smart contracts, or how we can rate the trustability of smart contracts.
Yep. Now, you mentioned blocks. I as a non-developer, non-techie, whatever, in this space, I see blocks as basically almost a monopoly on a block explorer, right? I don't see any reason to not use blocks personally. Now, would it make sense to work with them to implement this idea, or would it make sense to build an entirely new block explorer?
I think it would make more sense to build something entirely new.
Yeah.
The focus should be different. Blocks is very much about visualizing all the data all the transactions that were done at some time point, and it's so deeply about tokens, and I would really try to build something focused on trustability, that a new user can use, and he understands how high the risk is when he uses something, and that he gets a feeling for good and not so good contracts. Currently, there's no choice, or no information about this. you can't differ between EOS X or whatever shitcoin token from my neighbor.
Now, if
Right.
you think about
Um,
that whole project is contingent on better access to history, more decentralized history provision.
Yeah.
You know, and it's also contingent on basically designing that project with, you know, I know you have the wherewithal to do that, but it seems to me rather open-ended. It seems to be it seems to me a larger project than what we would be able to achieve with this.
Ye-
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
This would be a start for your
Absolutely.
project.
I would take the 2000 EOS and just throw them into a pot and say, hey guys, who wants to work with me on this?
Yeah.
That's all we have. Let's define a concept and let's participate with this idea and with the concept in the real Eden election.
Yeah.
So yeah, my goal would be to set up a team to win the next election with this idea, with a clear concept and something that we then can really deliver to the community within a few months.
Yeah. Now, there are more funding opportunities coming, like on the horizon with Pomelo and others.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm just, it's my opinion anyway that Eden itself, you know, that the Eden project would benefit from having a little bit more focus on itself. Right now, we're, as I say, this particular election is not where we want it to be, and it's, you know, just a little bit of help to Eden might help this whole thing along. I completely agree. I completely agree that we need marketing in EOS and Eden, and I completely agree that we need better history, and we need more trust. And I have no idea how better to express it than the the perception out there of Eden, of EOS rather, is it's pretty bleak in a lot of circles, right? And being able to see that, and I know you don't have Ricardian block explorers for other blockchains, do you? Like, are you aware of any for any other smart contract chain?
I'm not sure which smart contracts have this opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, on Ethereum, intent of code is kind of irrelevant. I mean,
Yeah.
right? It's
They are not aligned.
you can
Yeah,
describe your
they don't
DApp
really-
somehow, but it doesn't mean that's what it's going to do.
Yeah, I think this this is something that comes with the governance possibilities that we have on EOS.
Yeah.
On Ethereum or other chains, there is nothing like block producers that officially can decide on pausing someone's account.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think
Yeah.
we have a humongous opportunity in Eden to drive a community consensus on the fact that the network can fund itself, right? And that the network EOS can start putting more money into itself because we have that capability, right? We don't have to beg anybody for anything. We don't have to tie ourselves to block one. We don't have to tie ourselves to anybody, because Eden has the potential to become a really powerful consensus mechanism for the network to express its own desires, basically, right? And I agree with you that history, that's not a monopoly. You know, history services that are not run by people like Google, or people with one server. History services are essential. Other network services, core services, are essential, and I think Eden can make that happen. I think Eden can just, for example, I think Eden could achieve the funding to give your project what it needs
Sure.
right away. Just snap its fingers, and a pitch of yours could be achieved, right?
There we go.
Right.
Thanks.
No worries.
Yee. All right. That's it. It sounds like some of you were still probably going at it, but
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Okay.
The 50 minutes, right? It's to kind of force a little urgency here to reach consensus. So please go ahead and go to the voting doc. I can put the link again. I've been granting everybody permission that has shown up, and I'll keep a good watch on it, obviously.
Dominic, did you get any feedback from people who said they got booted partway through or something?
I didn't see any of that. Booted during?
Yeah, Patrick from Nova Crypto was mentioning
Oh.
that. Randall Roland, yeah. Oh, maybe he's just got booted now though.
Yeah,
I'm not
well,
sure
everybody
about
got
my recording. Dominic, I think, do I need to leave this